XRP ETFs have bought in over $800 million in recent weeks, both outpacing Bitcoin and Solana. And Bank of America is telling its wealth managers that now crypto deserves a seat at the table. But XRP has dropped over 10% in the last month. And so if you are an XRP holder, you might be wondering, well, why the disconnect and why the drop? And this is what most people are missing. Now, it's true that crypto ETFs are breaking records at the moment. In reality, crypto is still seen as a highly volatile, speculative, and non-core asset, something which institutions only touch in tiny allocations. Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, thinks that ETFs will just continue to get bigger, saying there's no chance they'll stay at 1 or 2% by 2026. That's optimistic, but CEOs should be optimistic. Banks and wealth funds are testing the waters in little 1 and 2% allocations, which ironically is how every institutional bull market begins. Chris Hayes, the CIO of Bank of America, said they're looking at putting a modest 1 to 4% into digital assets. It might not seem like much, but this is a mega bank telling wealthy clients that crypto is worth looking at. If Bank of America does decide to go to 4%, then that's tens of billions of dollars coming in, which is 80 times the market cap of XRP at the moment. At the moment, there's no specific info on what digital assets Bank of America would want to get into if it does go down this road. But regardless, this is really bullish news for XRP and for crypto in general. And so why is XRP down by 10% in a month? It's because ETF buying doesn't magically translate into actual utility. So the XRP ETF can and is bringing in money, but that just sits inside a fund. It doesn't mean that the banks are suddenly settling payments in XRP, and it doesn't mean that the banks are using blockchain for transactions, and it definitely doesn't mean that the token is gaining the organic demand it needs to force that price action, at least not now anyway. ETF buying equals price exposure, and utility adoption equals real demand. So they're two completely different things, but many people do confuse the two. Institutions scale slowly, so 1%, 2%, 4%, but this slow scaling is the strongest long-term bullish signal that you can get. Maybe we all need to be patient and get used to traditional market speed rather than the crypto speed that we're used to. And what do you think about that, and maybe where the price of XRP is heading? I'd love to know. Please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next vid.